Hi everybody, it's Kirstin here with Full Potential Coaching, and I am here this afternoon to talk to you about my next women's retreat. So ladies, this is for you, and gentlemen, this is for you also if there's a woman in your life whom you think could really benefit from this experience. So let me tell you all about it. I want to give you just some highlights of what you can expect at this retreat, the kinds of women who come, what they're dealing with, what they're experiencing, what you can expect in terms of the trajectory of the day, and what you'll come away with. I want to really be clear because I've been getting a lot of questions lately from a lot of different people, and I thought I would come on here and just do a video to answer as many of those questions as I can at once. So it's called Your Path to Full Potential Retreat. They're my signature retreats. They're small. I keep my retreats limited to no more than 12 women so that we can create a really intimate, bonded, safe community. We spend the whole day together from 9:30 in the morning to 5:30 in the afternoon. My next retreat is on Sunday, October 8th at the Ewing Cultural Center, the Ewing Manor. Beautiful, huge mansion. We have the entire facility to ourselves, including the grounds, with just gorgeous gardens and lots of really neat nooks and crannies for solitude and writing and just closing your eyes and nourishing yourself with silence. So most of the women who come to my retreats are coming for one of two primary reasons. One, they're coming because they're extremely busy. Their lives are chock full with obligations, commitments, none of which feel negotiable. Raising children, tending to aging parents, managing careers, sometimes multiple careers, creative projects, self-care, partnering, and these women often feel like they're ambitious, they really want to see through to the best of their abilities and show up fully to every single one of these commitments, but time and time again, they find themselves giving so much, often overgiving to those they serve and those they care for, and finding themselves just taking the back seat over and over, such that they know there's a feeling in the back of their brain saying, I know I need to step out of the stream. I know I need to step off the road and give myself a break and recalibrate. But they've become so committed to and so entrenched in their schedules and the belief that there is no wiggle room, that the thought of actually stepping out for a day it feels not only self-indulgent in the worst sense of the word, but it feels scary, really scary, because this cocoon of busyness has become a comfort zone. And they're afraid on the one hand of coming to the retreat and not fulfilling duties elsewhere, but they're also afraid of coming and sinking into that voice that they've been avoiding or numbing or distancing themselves from by way of being extremely busy. So if this is you, you are not alone. I can guarantee you that most of the other women at the retreat will be exactly in your shoes. And it can be a very anxiety-producing state. It can be a really nerve-wracking place to be, such that when you show up that morning, you feel really nervous. And most of the women who come to my retreat, when we go around our welcome circle, I say, so who here feels nervous? Who here feels anxious? And pretty much everybody raises their hand. And it's a huge relief to just be in the presence of other women who understand your story, understand exactly what you're going through, are going through at least a version of the story themselves, and just right away, that camaraderie, that kind of just presence of understanding enables a release, an exhale. The other the other issue that women who come to my retreats are generally dealing with is being at a crossroads of some sort. So it could be, it could be wanting to change careers, ending of a marriage, beginning of a relationship, dealing with grief, major loss, some kind of circumstance in their lives externally, or some sort of internal shift that feels quite major, and they want help and guidance because they feel lost, confused, overwhelmed, excited, and afraid all at the same time. And sometimes I have women who come to my retreats who are dealing with both of these circumstances. So if you feel like you identify with either one of these groups of women, again, you won't be alone. You'll be exactly in the right place. So what does the day look like? We gather at 9:30 in the morning. We have a welcome circle, and we have 3 units throughout the day. The first unit in the morning, we deal with full potential. What is your path to full potential? What is full potential? What does that really mean? So I spend some time talking to you about what it does not mean and breaking down some myths around what it means to live your full potential. For instance, it's not a place of arrival. It's a quality of engagement, a way we walk through our lives in any given moment. And that means that we start right where you are. We do some guided meditation, some yoga, some writing, some talking, and we move deeply into your thoughts, your beliefs, and I teach you about the power of your beliefs and how to become very awake and conscious of what's going on in your brain in terms of your thinking, how your mindset, how your thinking is determining the results in your life at any given moment. We work with limiting beliefs. What are those? How do we identify them? And most importantly, how can we rewrite them? Because we can. We learn about the difference between self-love and self-criticism. Oftentimes we confuse the two. We learn about self-compassion, and I end this unit by teaching you a really wonderful strategy to practice and cultivate self-compassion, which is the gateway to connection with those around us. Then we have lunch. I serve a beautiful vegan lunch outside if the weather permits. It's really lovely. Then we come back in for unit number 2. And this is where we talk about authentic desire, which is very different from craving or attachment. In fact, authentic desire is the antidote, the cure to both that kind of hungry, grossed craving and that kind of attachment, that grip of attachment. Authentic desire is that life force, that energy that comes out of your creative being, the well of your creativity. As such, it is also the conduit to joy and purpose. I talk about purpose, how it is that we have many purposes, how it is that the best way to purpose is understanding what it is you love to do on purpose. We talk about fear because everything we really, really want is on the other side of fear. What does fear look like for you? Do you recognize fear when it pops up? And most importantly, how can we walk through our fear without avoiding it or repressing it? Really critical life skill to engaging our full potential and realizing our dreams. Then we take a little break, and then we come back and we talk about commitment, the power of commitment. What does that really mean? Why is it that I set goals for myself and I establish intentions, and time again I fall back, I don't seem to follow through? Why is that? So I teach a lot about the neurology of intention, the neurology of commitment, the difference between willpower and desire, and how if we want to overcome patterns that sabotage our best efforts, we cannot do so only born on the back of willpower. We must do so by really rescripting our internal desires. This is how we address issues like overeating, overdrinking, emotional eating, any other number of sabotage efforts that we do that get in our way, that make us quit when we're so determined not to. This is a really powerful session. We talk a lot about decision, the power of decision, the really stultifying power of indecision, the fallacy of confusion. And I teach you about genuine commitment and how that differs from interest. Genuine commitment, how to make decisions, then how to make them right and follow through with massive action, even if that massive action looks for you like very small, discrete baby steps. Often that's exactly what we need to do, and it's much easier than we think. Then we have a closing circle and we end our day. It's a rich, nutritive, nourishing day full of learning, discovery, bonding, communication, writing, discussion, question asking. You will leave this retreat feeling deeply nourished. And when I say nourished, I don't mean nourished the kind of nourishment that happens when we get a pedicure or facial or a massage, or we go shopping, or we go out to a great meal. All of those are fun too, and those can feel like self-pampering and a nice reward for ourselves. But I'm talking about the kind of nourishment we feel by paying attention to who we are with sustained effort and care. When we are living really busy lives, taking care of lots of people, serving lots of clients or customers, we very rarely make the time to really pay attention to ourselves. And one thing I can tell you is the greatest form of love is attention. When you pay attention to yourself in this way with guided, with my guidance and mentoring, so that you're asking yourself really targeted questions, and you're in a container that's safe where you can explore your answers safely, you come away feeling so recalibrated because you've paid attention to yourself. You've learned a great deal. You've stretched, you've grown, and you've done so not against your will. You've done so in service of your best self. So even though you may be taking an 8-hour chunk out of your life, I can promise you, guarantee you, that the degree of energy, clarity, and excitement you will take with you at the end of this day will make you so much more productive with so much more ease that every one of those hours is so worth it. So, you'll leave the day feeling deeply nourished, way below surface level. You will feel clear. You'll have cleared away so much confusion, indecision, overwhelm. I'll teach you exactly about those 3 things and how they're states of being and not actually circumstances. I'll teach you tools to overcome them. You will leave that day feeling so much lighter. And finally, you will feel energized, motivated, and excited, because you know what we do when we spend this kind of time really deepening our awareness and becoming attuned to who we are and what we want and what's blocking us? We develop self-confidence and self-trust. And one thing I know to be true is that when we are just running on the treadmill of obligation and ambition and dedication and devotion to everything else but our own inner sanctuaries, we lose motivation. We start living off of fumes, and that is not sustainable. And pretty soon you're going to burn out, and the cost is going to be high. So, clarity, nourishment, excitement, energized, motivated, inspired, and you're going to have new friends. You're going to have spent a remarkable day with like-minded women with similar stories who understand where you are. You'll share tears, you'll share dreams, you'll share feelings, you'll share dreams, and that kind of experience is pretty much like no other with regard to bonding and community building. So you're going to leave with new friends and new ways to hold yourself and each other accountable. So it's a rich day. It's packed with meditation, teaching, some yoga and movement, music, a little bit of dance, writing, solitude time. I give you ample time to wander in the gardens, to visit the Japanese rock garden, walk on the trails, and then we come together for some pretty intensive together time as well. And we move back and forth between those 2 venues because I think this kind of learning and experience is really facilitated by moving in and out of solitude and communion. Solitude and communion. So that's what a Your Path to Full Potential retreat looks like. If you are interested, and I know that some of you are, because I know some of you watching right now are people I've talked to about this experience and answer some of your questions, I highly encourage you to just sign up. Say yes. You will not regret it. I'll happily give you every penny of your money back if you're not satisfied. No qualms making that guarantee and that promise to you. Happily refund all your money. It's $120 for the day. That includes your lunch. It includes all the materials that I give to you, worksheets, and the whole day of teachings and experience in a really beautiful place. So if you are interested, you can go to my website, KirstinHotelingZona.com. There's a banner right at the top of the page. Click on that banner. You can register immediately and get your place secured. If you have questions, you can comment at the end of this video, or you can email me at KirstinHotelingZona@gmail.com. I'd be happy to email you. You can call me as well. So I look forward to hearing from you. I really look forward to seeing you at the retreat if you decide this is something you want to commit to. And I hope you have a beautiful, beautiful rest of your Sunday evening.